In the mountain gorges, the night seemed eternal, as if darkness penetrated the very depths of the soul. The road, winding among the rocks, swallowed the light of the headlights, leaving only an abyss of darkness behind. The driver, a lone traveler in his car, battled with fatigue and drowsiness, striving to overcome the final stretch of the journey. A deep breath, the relief of shoulders from the tension of the steering wheel, and a gaze dreaming of a bed and a warm blanket, that's what motivated him in this endless moment. However, suddenly, as if inspired by some unknown force, he noticed a figure on the roadside. A girl in a red dress, her silhouette blurred and drowned in the darkness, caught his attention. Stopping, he felt perplexed and asked himself, what is she doing here, in these remote mountains? Surprisingly, her hand was outstretched toward him, as if she was asking for help or a stop. Mixed feelings dominated his heart: doubt, anxiety, but also a hint of curiosity. Was it worth stopping? And then, overcoming his internal doubts, he stepped out of the car, approaching the mysterious figure. Her face remained in the shadow, and the driver's breath froze in anticipation. "Do you need help?" his voice rang out in the night, feeling how the words disappeared in the silence. But the girl merely turned slowly, her features remaining hidden in the darkness. Only her hand remained visible, like a symbol of invitation, tempting with its promise. But in the next moment, his gaze fell on her feet. They were hooves. Surprise, fear, and revulsion mingled in his mind, crashing over him like an icy wave. Images of dreadful legends and horrifying warnings flashed in his mind. His face paled, his hands trembled, and his heart raced in his chest. With a reckless leap backward, he recoiled, involuntarily taking a step back. His thoughts were bewildered, his hands shaking, and his heart pounding like a beast in a cage. In panic, he rushed back to his sanctuary, behind the wheel, and suddenly slammed on the gas pedal. Speed, wind, the sound of the engine, it all seemed like a ghost, obscuring his understanding of what was happening. But in his mind, like a choir, dark predictions and incomprehensible warnings echoed. A lump of fear stuck in his throat, and he was so focused on speeding up that he didn't even notice the car losing stability at a dangerous speed. But even that wasn't the end of his nightmare. In the rearview mirror, he saw her. The girl in red, like a ghost, was about to jump onto the car. Fear engulfed him like a wave, and his fingers gripped the steering wheel with desperation. He pressed the gas even harder, his heart beating in unison with the roar of the engine. And then she caught up with them. The engine stalled, the tires squealed, and the car shook like a bird in a cage. He heard her voice, a hiss, words filled with threat and ominous foreboding. But the driver didn't listen. His mind was only focused on one thing: escaping. Escaping from this nightmare, from this shadow, from this woman in the red dress. And when they finally emerged from the dark gorge, she fell behind. The shadow disappeared into the night, leaving him in convulsive breaths, his heart pounding in his chest, as if trying to break free from its cage. His gaze wandered over the surrounding landscape, now no longer threatening, but simply desolate and ruthless. And at that moment he understood. Never again would he get behind the wheel at night. Never again would he be able to take this road, because it doesn't belong to him, but to the dark forces that wait for unsuspecting victims to step into their trap.